Hello and welcome to Herald TV, and today in our special Ground Zero report we are going to show you how the 16B and 17.2 amendments to the Goa Land Development and Building Construction Regulations 2010 proposed by notification are going to spell death for Goan lands. 26 NGOs under the Federation of Rainbow Warriors have termed the proposed amendments as illegal and unconstitutional. They call them a move for short-term profits of a few and complete destruction of Goa. But what are these proposed amendments going to do to Goan land? Listen in.
Implications of the amendments are as follows. Paragraph 3 on page 85 of the Gazette notification proposes to amend Regulation 6A31 to allow lands within Eco-Sensitive Zone 1 and Eco-Sensitive Zone 2, A1 and A2 zone in RP 2021 to be used for yoga and meditation centers, open-air spaces, religious structures and agricultural research centers, development centers, agricultural education institutes, biotechnology units. These amendments are prima facie illegal and in violation of relevant statuses and our Constitution. Regulation 6A31 subsection 1 states that the use is permitted in zones A1 and A2. The draft RP 2021 report of the task force, page 121, para A37, defines zones A1 and A2 to be ecologically sensitive zones 1 and 2 respectively. The dilution of law is applicable to the ecologically sensitive zones of forest, sand dunes, mangroves, rivers, nalla, ponds, salt pans, khazans, fish farms, mud flats, no development slopes, irrigated lands, cultivable lands, paddy fields, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, buffer, national covers, and orchids which cannot be allowed. The existing regulation allows lands within A1 and A2 zones to be used only for agricultural, forestry, and fisheries uses. Other uses are permitted in some of these zones only if they are ancillary to the agricultural uses, such as for irrigation, pump installations, biogas plants, farmhouses, poultry, dairy, and roads for agricultural purposes only. Shockingly, the subject amendments propose to allow numerous massive constructions for non-agricultural uses within ecologically sensitive zones in violation of land use restrictions laid down in the RP 2021 and of the TCP Act 1974. In the name of yoga meditation centers, open-air sports and religious structures, agricultural research, development centers, agricultural educational institutes, biotechnology units, the mandatory procedures have been vehemently ignored in the new amendment, making them illegal and unconstitutional. The amendments violate TCP Act 1974, RP 2021, non-regression principle, precautionary principle, Article 14. The amendments violate TCP Act 1974, RP 2021, non-regression principle, precautionary principle, Articles 14, 19 and 21 of the Constitution and Article 243 of the Constitution.
A delegation of various prominent names from the environmentalists has met the chief town planner opposing the amendments. A presentation to create awareness regarding the amendment by experts was also held. Have a look.
27 एप्रिलाक गोंयचे सरकारान एक नोटिफिकेशन काढलें की गोवा लँड डेव्हलपमेंट अँड बिल्डिंग कन्स्ट्रक्शन रेग्युलेशन ते एमेंड करूंक सोदतात, बदलूंक सोदतात आनी लोकांक 1 म्हयनो दिलो हाजेर आपल्याली ऑब्जेक्शन घालपाक. जेन्ना आमी हे एमेंडमेंट कायदो जो बदलूंक सोदता हाजेर अभ्यास केलो, आमकां कळून आयलें की हे म्हणल्यार फक्त गोंय काबार करपाचो आनी एक षडयंत्र आसा. आतां ह्या कायद्यान ताणें कितें केलां की जे रिजनल प्लॅनात ज्यो जमनी सगल्यो सांबाळून दवरिल्ल्यो म्हळ्यार A1, A2 झोन म्हळ्यार रानां, CRZ एरिया, भाटां, शेतां ही सगळीं तांणी ह्या जाग्यांनी आतां व्हडले व्हडले प्रकल्प परमिशन दिवपाक ह्या प्रकल्पाक तांणी हो कायदो काडला. म्हळ्यार जे जमनीचेर आयज कांयच काडूंक जायना, ज्यो आमची रानां एग्रीकल्चरल जमनी आसात, ह्या जमनीचेर योगा मेडिटेशन सेंटर नाजाल्यार एग्रीकल्चर डेव्हलपमेंट एरिया नाजाल्यार कसले ओपन एअर स्पोर्ट्स नाल्यार रिलिजियस स्ट्रक्चर ह्या भशेन व्हडले व्हडले प्रकल्प म्हळ्यार 50,000 स्क्वेअर मिटर 1,00,000 स्क्वेअर मिटर जमनी जे व्हडले पयशेकारांनी घेतल्यात त्या जमनीचेर 10,000-20,000 30,000 स्क्वेअर मिटर व्हडले कन्स्ट्रक्शन करपाक हांणी परवानगी दिवपाक ट्राय केला. म्हणल्यार हें कायद्याचे भायर आसा, हें कंप्लिटली इल्लिगल आसा. कित्याक कसले जमनीचो उपयोग बदलूंक सोदतात जाल्यार ते रिजनल प्लॅनांतल्यानूच जावपाक शकता, रेगुलेशनांतल्यान न्ही. आनी हातूंत कितें आसा की हे जे सगळे बदल हाडल्यात हे फक्त बिल्डर आनी व्हडले पयशेकारां खातीर हाडल्यात आनी गरीब लोकांक काबार करपा खातीर हाडल्यात. एक एग्जाम्पल आसा की आमची जी गरीब लोकांची घरां जी आयज इल्लिगल आसात ती रेगुलरायज करपाक कायद्यान एक प्रोविजन आशिल्लें की धाकलीं घरां 500 मिटरा सकयल जीं आसात, आमची लोकांची घरां 100-200 मिटराची आसतात, तीं घरां रेगुलरायज जावची. पूण आयज कायदो काडला की 500 मिटरा वयर केदीय व्हडलीं घरां रेगुलरायज जावची. म्हणल्यार हे व्हडले हॉटेलवाले आनी बिल्डरांनी इल्लिगल करची कन्स्ट्रक्शन आनी तीं रेगुलरायज जातलीं आनी आमची लोकांची घरां मोडटलीं. हाका लागून हो कायदो सामको वायट आसा. हो कायदो भायर मारूंक जाय आनी आमी सगळ्यांनी मेळून हाजे खातीर झगडोंक जाय.
Well, there are several things. One is that they have amended the Town and Country Planning Act. So we had Goa Bachao Abhiyan and Goa Foundation and others. We had challenged the 16B amendment. Now, because all the 7,000 applications are cancelled, and whatever money they paid to that Chodankar and all is all gone. Now they have brought in 17.2. 16B failed. Now they have got 17.2. 17.2 means if the party claims, not town planning, if the party claims, you have got some land and you go there and say, "Hey, मुझे जमीन बेस्ट ऑर्चर्ड दाखवला, तो ऑर्चर्ड सेटलमेंट दाखवूंक जाय." They say correct, we will make a correction and you can put your building there. That is what it has become. So Morji, 65,000 square meters. They said it's an error. Even new road they are taking to the property, they said it's an error that the road is not in the regional plan. So we have to bring the road into the regional, that is also an error. So सगळे error म्हणून सगळे आता regional plan they change करतात. Now we have challenged 16B, we are challenging 17.2 also. हे नाका आणि आमका नाका. This development in Morji and in other places, wherever they are showing errors and bringing out this notification, we are challenging the notification. We will not allow them to do this type of nonsense. This is nonsense. This is not planning. This is nonsense. This is just doing hukumgiri. What I want, I will do. If I am the minister, I agree. You come and make an agreement with me, I will do it in your favor. This is all town planning has become now. Therefore, we, public of Goa should recognize that the interest of town planning department is completely contrary to the interests of Goa, the survival of Goa and the interests of all Goans and the ecology and environment of Goa. If you have the two, either one will go. If you have town planning department, Goa is going. If you want Goa to remain, remove town planning department. Now, Sabina, I said only method for doing this is to go back to local level planning from the villages. Ward committee, prepare their development plan, give it to village development plan. Village development plan, send it to the town planning, saying on to the government, saying that only this is the plan we will follow. आमचे तुमचे plan करतात ते आमका नाका. We don't want somebody sitting in Panjim to decide how the ward in Parna should be developed. We don't want that advice. We will do it ourselves. Everybody is quite competent to do it, and we will send you the plan. You don't send us any plan. That is the only solution to stop this.
Of a farmer's house in orchard areas. And that farmer's house was described as 50 square meters. How a farmer's house now has become 1,000 square meters. We did an exercise of typical villages, Asagaon, Aldona, and we take the orchard areas over there. In each of these villages, there can be 300, 1,000 square meter houses. As Sabina mentioned, the Adil Shah Palace has a footprint of 1,200 square meters. Do we want 300 Adil Shah palaces in every village of Goa? That is completely crazy. And as an architect, I can say that all the new development is coming up because of speculative development. It's all developers and builders. It's not people's houses. These are all like 5-bedroom, 6-bedroom houses with pools and everything coming up. So do we really want that? I think the people of Goa have to decide whether that is the sort of way we want to go. It's true, we welcome people to come to Goa, but this is all speculative. It's all about making money. And this is not something which will really benefit Goans at all.
Okay, the basic gist of it to me sagla yaad asa. In September, these land and development amendments came, which everybody pushed back. Minister gave us a promise that it would be scrapped. Ata they have brought them back, and from those 17, 11 have come back, among which 9 are word for word exactly what people protested. Giant 10,000 square foot farmhouses inside our rice fields, and all sorts of crazy things. We have made presentations and we can give you the details and the nitty-gritties, but it is just shocking to me that when people came out in such huge numbers, over 2,000 objection letters were received, the government have brought them back under a new name, so the whole process of objections has to start again.
So we are calling people to give their objections. 26th May is the last day at 11 o'clock to assemble at DCP office at Pato. Now, there are, besides the building rule, they also brought out a notification saying that corrections will be made, errors can be corrected in the regional plan. So what they did was, this whole eco zone which is there, rain area, where settlement is not permissible, they have given permission to private parties to
Correct.
to
correct
correct
the regional plan.
There is no correction possible over there. It is green zone completely. The second thing also what it did is they permitted multi-dwellings on narrow roads. Now for multi-dwelling, that is as we call mega projects, you need a certain width of road. So below 6 meters also they have permitted. So the density is going to increase, and as it is we are facing traffic congestions. So there are several now. In fact, if we have already mentioned that structures as big as the old secretariat, which is Adil Shah Palace, will come up in the fields, because that is what they have said.
The draft amendments say that now. So basically, the logic of planning is that you identify where you can build and where you can't build. And there is a certain amount of logic behind deciding settlement zones, agriculture zones, eco-sensitive zones. These building amendments now give everybody a backdoor into the no development zones, allowing you to build certain constructions. And they have used terminology such as farmhouse, even though the details within the amendments don't seem to fit the size.
Constitutionally required to do. Government is not doing it because there is no interest for the government to do planning in this way, because government wants to have all the development plans in their hands. They don't want to give them to the Zilla Parishad, they don't want to give them to District Planning Committee, they don't want to give them to the Ward Development Committee. That has got to change. And this meeting, I hope, and this campaign to get rid of these amendments will also guide people to go to do some very substantial work in preparation of the Ward Development Committee plans. If they do the land use planning, we can say Tata to Town and Country Planning Department, and nobody will be the loser. Nobody will be the loser.
With these changes to the regional plan, with this error thing, with the ODPs, with these amendments to the bylaws and everything, and development rules, it means nothing is sacrosanct in Goa. Your fields have been mentioned over there, they can take over their fields. Who's going to tell what is the low-lying field and high-lying field over there? They say all fields except low-lying can be developed now. Orchard areas, private forests, all that is going to go. So what do we have left in Goa? Everything is up for sale, everything is up for development. A regional plan is talking about a settlement area, only one tiny part of developing a regional plan. If all the other things are forgotten about, then there's nothing left in Goa. And I think we have to be very firm about this, that we have to take this on head on, and the people have got to come out and say, no, we have had enough of this nonsense.
So what should be the role of a general member of the public now in this case?
Complain now.
26th
is go to the
Last
department,
day.
Let them file objection.
Before that also they can file. 26th is the last date. So they should object to the amendments that have been made, the amendments that we have stated, that this is going to destroy Goa. We don't want construction in the fields, because where will our food security come from if all our paddy fields go? Okay, we have to look at that. If we are going to have houses, the density increases. See the congestion. Today you can't move in the city. Okay, so this is all part of planning. So there is no application of mind. Basically, what is happening today is no application of mind. Instead of improving the quality of life of Goans, the quality of life is going down.
Ma'am, is there sufficient time for us now for having this participatory process?
See, the regional plan is supposed to be a participative process. The regional plan is already made. Why is there need for amendments? They want to accommodate private interests, that's why these amendments are made. It's not made in the interest of public good. And a regional plan is supposed to be for the whole state, it's not for individuals.
And the regional plan will
You see that entire Beti hill cut, full, and normally it used to be this green hills. People come to Goa for its beauty, okay, you stand, now it is just a brown patch there. So if all these houses come on the hills, see there are so many other issues, soil erosion is there, it affects our climate, we are already seeing climate change in Goa. Our water levels are going to rise in the rivers. All these factors have to be taken into consideration while planning. It's not just a government goes and signs that we will take steps for climate change. Here is where you have to put it in practice.
A settlement area is only one tiny part of developing a regional plan. If all the other things are forgotten about, then there's nothing left to go. And I think we have to be very firm about this, that we have to take this on head on, and the people of Goa have to come out and say, no, we have had enough of this nonsense.
So what should be the role of a general member of the public now in this case?
Complain now.
26th
is go to the
Last
department,
day.
Let
file
them
an
file
objection.
objection. Let them
Before
file
that
objection.
also they can file, 26 is the last date. So they should object to the amendments that have been made, the amendments that we have stated, that this is going to destroy Goa. We don't want construction in the fields, because where will our food security come from if all our paddy fields go? Okay, we have to look at that. If we are going to have houses, the density increases. See the congestion. Today you can't move in the city. Okay, so this is all part of planning. So there is no application of mind. Basically, what is happening today is no application of mind. Instead of improving the quality of life of Goans, the quality of life is going down.
Ma'am, is there sufficient time for us now for having this participatory process?
See, the regional plan is supposed to be a participative process. The regional plan is already made. Why is there need for amendments? They want to accommodate private interests, that's why these amendments are made. It's not made in the interest of public good. And a regional plan is supposed to be for the whole state, it's not for individuals.
And the regional plan, when we say 2021, that doesn't mean that it expires in 2021. It is projected well for another 10 years also. We can use the same regional plan if we need to. It has got enough density to allow for development for the people of Goa. But the moment you want to talk about speculative development, where you want to convert hill slopes and orchard areas and fields and forests into development thing, then nothing is enough. It's all about green.
I'll just give the building rule. They also brought out a notification saying that corrections will be made. Errors can be corrected in the regional plan. So what they did was, this whole eco zone which is there, green area where settlement is not permissible, they have given permission to private parties to
Correct.
correct
the regional plan.
There is no correction possible over there. It is green zone completely. The second thing also what it did is they permitted multi-dwellings on narrow roads. Now for multi-dwelling, that is as we call mega projects, you need a certain width of road. So below 6 meters also they have permitted. So the density is going to increase, and as it is we are facing traffic congestions. So there are several now. In fact, if we have already mentioned that structures as big as the old secretariat, which is Adil Shah Palace, will come up in the fields, because that is what they have said.
The draft amendments say that now. So basically, the logic of planning is that you identify where you can build and where you can't build. And there is a certain amount of logic behind deciding settlement zones, agriculture zones, eco-sensitive zones. these building amendments now give everybody a backdoor into the no development zones, allowing you to build certain constructions. And they have used terminology such as farmhouse, even though the details within the amendments don't seem to fit the size, scale, materials, or even the owner's requirements that a real farmhouse should have. And seeing these as a planner, I get very worried, because what am I supposed to, what type of a profession am I supposed to do if I come, I do a plan, I do a zoning, and then it overruled by a silly text amendment?
And secondly, regional plan was made by a participatory process. You know that the draft plan was made, it went to the panchayats, everybody gave in their inputs, and then the RP was finalized. Now, here what they are doing is, when you make amendments, they are not going through this process. And how many amendments are coming in? All should be put together, and then the plan has to be looked at whole. It's not a piecemeal. You can't do piecemeal corrections to the regional plan. So 73rd and 74th Amendment of the Constitution ensures that people participate in the planning process. Over here, they are overruling the participatory process.
The High Court will soon give its verdict on the petition challenging the 16B amendment. Herald TV will keep you updated on the latest developments on the front. News and infotainment continues. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. This is Larissa Vaz signing off. Keep watching Herald TV.